Hello, Eclectors. Welcome back to the Eclectic Collection podcast. I feel like I say that all the time. Welcome back. Welcome if you're new. Welcome back if you're not new. And if you are not new, then go tell 25 other people about it so that I can stop feeling like I'm talking to myself and just my sound engineer, Kevin, who often just looks at me funny anyway, because being with Kevin's like being alone. But I love my Kevin. Anyhow, today's episode 51, Idiosyncratic Behavior. You know what they are? Habits. It just sounded cooler to say idiosyncratic behavior. People do weird things. I picked 10 weird things. I do some of these things too. And here's the reasons why we might do them. It could be nerve psychology behind it, etc. Biting your nails. I used to bite my nails. Then I got braces. I stopped biting my nails. Biting your nails is generally anxiety. It's boredom or nerves. Kind of depends on one of those three categories. You're anxious about something, you're bored, so you're just biting your nails. I don't get why that's like, tasty. Or you're nervous. Now, when I got braces, I couldn't get to my nails as much because the braces were in the way, and I just kind of stopped biting my nails, and I never got back to it. They do sell this awful nail polish that tastes terrible, so when you go to bite your nails, you don't want to bite your nails. But I was lucky that I got out of that habit. But if you are a nail biter, it's not very nice, but you look like you're chewing on your hand. And I think you gave that up when you were a toddler. Just saying. But, could be nerves, could be anxiety, could be boredom. Chewing ice. I'm not chronically guilty of this. I've done it. I don't mind it. Depends on the ice cubes. Sometimes there's just really good ice at different places. It's little tiny, like round up ball ones. They're good. Anyhow, ice can be frustration and anxiety as well, but it's usually like you're frustrated if you deliberately chew ice and you chew ice all the time. This isn't to say that you can't like ice in a drink, but it's actually going after the ice to chew on the ice. My niece's dog chews ice all the time, so I don't know. She's a chow. What could she possibly be having anxiety about, since she obviously runs the lives of everyone she's near, and she shouldn't have anxiety about anything because she's stubborn and she doesn't listen. But that's another thing. Poor Kimmy. Jingling keys or change in your pocket, or jewelry. Sometimes people play with their jewelry. This is kind of like a fidget situation. It can literally be like makes people crazy, like nerves. You say like you're feeling crazy about something and you need to fiddle with something. It's I guess fidget spinners gave way to this, but keys and change is more of like a jingle. Like you'll have a bunch of stuff in your hand and sort of let it sift through your fingers, or you're just making noise for noise's sake. Jewelry, it could be like you're wearing a ring and you're just spinning it around your finger, or you're taking a actual chain or a bracelet and just sort of, maybe if you have a pendant or something, you're flicking it back and forth on the chain, and you just do it out of constant nerves, or it can make people crazy. People actually are most adverse to this and will say something after a while. I guess because it's like clicking of a pen thing, like it's noise, constant noise. Cracking your knuckles. Now, I have done this. I can't say I do it like a check mark box every day where I have time to go crack my knuckles, but I do find myself doing that. It's actually anger-based. It can be threatening if you're trying to get into a fight. You go up and you crack your knuckles like, I'm going to hit you. But it could be boredom. Some people just do it for boredom. But it is technically coming from a psychological place of anger if you're going to go hit someone or something. Big falsehood. It is just air. It will not give you arthritis. I have that on good accord from lots of people that I work with that teach phys ed. They always say, no, it's just air in your knuckles. It's not actually causing any kind of arthritis. Unlike when you sit too close to the TV, it can ruin your eyes. It's just one of those great wives' tales that we tell kids. That one's probably true because I definitely don't have good eyes. And I don't think I sat that close, but I guess I did. Another crazy habit. Idiosyncratic behavior. Apologizing like all the time. I can't say that I do this as a matter of course. A lot of people kind of beat themselves up, and they will literally be people that have low self-esteem, or they will ruin their self-esteem because they feel guilty or bad about a thing. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. It almost comes out of their mouth before the person even reacts. And it's not that whomever they're talking to reacts poorly. It doesn't even have to be a wrong thing, a wrong piece of information, or they did something wrong. They almost anticipate the failure and like, I'm sorry. I'll fix it. I'm sorry. Before it ever even turns into anything. And it may not. They generally have a lot of perfectionism behind this. Some people feel that they need to be perfect all the time, and they really hate making mistakes. So it can kind of come from one way or the other. They either have the low self-esteem where they're just anticipating that they're wrong all the time, or it's the flip side where they're generally right a lot, or they strive to perform very well and perfectly, and nobody's perfect. So when you do make the mistake, it makes them crazy and they get angered, so they apologize like constantly. Washing hands like all the time, that can come from obsessive compulsive disorder. So if it's a clean freak situation, some people just like to be clean. I get it, and we're all kind of that way now for obvious reasons. But it can come from like an obsessive fear. It could be germaphobe situation, and it makes you wash your hands, or it could just be cleanliness, like it's a control thing that you can control how clean you are, so therefore you can wash and scrub your hands as much as you want. I mean, don't do this to the point of like no skin and you need to put on some serious oil of Olay, but it can be kind of a control thing where it's like, I'm going to wash my hands as much as I want. So relax, obviously be clean. I encourage that, but you don't have to do it all the time. If you find yourself doing it a lot or feeling the need to, and not just because you got dirty or touched something gross like the trash, then, maybe look at why. Maybe take a reason why. People who suck their thumb. I was guilty of this, and I had the braces for years to prove it. When you're a little kid, it's more of a little kid thing. I really hope you're not an adult sucking your thumb. If you are, please stop and don't tell people that you are. It's an insecurity thing. You become dependent as a coping mechanism, and it's usually done, as a little kid. But after 4, they kind of say 4 is the magic number. After 4, it's more than just a habit or like a comfort, like a blankie. You have the kids call it a binky. I can't say I had that. I had my thumb. Maybe because I never got a binky. I don't know. But you become dependent on it. And that can lead, it's funny because adults that are orally fixated, it could turn into toothpicks. It could turn into cigarettes. It could turn into gum. It could turn into lots of things. And there's just different stuff it's like you always have to have something in your mouth. So whatever it is that you're doing, you could have, I have to chew on this. I have to eat this. I have to, it could be eating disorder, whatever. So it kind of starts with sucking your thumb. Wildly smacking or chewing gum. This is a source of contention. I like gum. I'm a gumaholic. I'd like to think that I calmly chew gum. Do I get out of hand and wildly crack gum or flip out gum or blow bubbles? Not usually, to be honest. If I'm alone, I might blow the occasional bubble if it's bubble gum, but I'm usually not chewing that. And I like gum a lot, but some people look at gum as a stress. Like it causes stress instead of takes stress away. And I guess it depends on where you're coming from. Again, are you orally fixated? You're trying not to smoke, for example. I've never been a smoker, so I don't have that problem. I just like gum. Some people think it's bad to have like stuff in your mouth and chew things all the time. I personally think you do you. I don't really care. But if you need a way to funnel out stress or anger, then some people will chew gum. It's just if they are really angry or stressed or upset or anxious to chew the gum the same way, it gets worse, it gets annoying, and it can get smacky and cracky, and people start and they get crazy about it, and you hear pops and snaps. I've seen it. It also depends on how much gum you're chewing. I mean, you think about like a ball player that's trying not to use tobacco and they fill their face full of Big League Chew. I've also seen wrestlers chew gum in order to eat something, but yet then they spit out because they want to suck weight. That's kind of weird too. I mean, it just depends on what you're doing. If you're just a plain old normal person that's just chewing gum for chewing gum's sake, usually I would hope it's for fun, flavor, taste, whatever, and maybe after lunch or dinner and you couldn't get to brush your teeth right away or something. But it's meant to be a simple thing. But sometimes if you're really stressed about your gum or it's out of hand, that could be why. That leads us to spitting. Now, spitting I find gross. Can't say I'm a spitter. If I'm spitting, it's because I'm sick. Something went wrong, and it's just a one and done situation. But it really is just linked to anxiety. And I find that I do see there are people who just spit. They just, I don't know, it's like a thing. They'll just spit wherever they are. They'll spit outside, especially if they're in a parking lot or a ball field. They don't even think anything of it. And I'm not saying like, again, tobacco chewer or somebody that's taking sunflower seeds and then spitting the seeds out, although they could. But generally it's just spit, just saliva, and they'll just spit. So I find that gross, and it's I think that's the worst of all these actually. But it's generally linked to anxiety. If you spit for fun, ask yourself why you're spitting for fun, because that's really not fun. It's kind of gross, and it's definitely not societally acceptable. Let's put it that way. People do it, but that's definitely on the no-no list. You don't want someone to see you spitting, and you definitely don't want to be on camera spitting somewhere. So it just is like a phooey, yuck, I hate this. It's also universally taken as an ew, a yuck, a no. So you don't want to be spitting. Lastly, I have nervous coughing. Well, probably because you're nervous. Some people cough because they have to cough. Some people cough because it's a bad byproduct of a drug they're taking. Oh, sorry. Coughing can happen for lots of reasons. But if it's literally a nervous cough, it's almost like your go-to noise. It could be a go-to cough, a go-to laugh, and it's almost like a filler if you can't handle the silence or you're waiting in anticipation for an answer or something. So people get weird about that, and they might just cough. And okay, it only lasts a few seconds, but it's almost like an escape to get out of a situation. I'm not saying like have a full out nervous cough attack and it takes, minutes and minutes and you have to excuse yourself, although I can't say I haven't seen that, but that's more rare. It's usually just and they get out of a moment or an answer or something. And it's usually, again, just anxiety and nerves because you don't have the answer readily available, or you've been put on the spot with something and you're not comfortable in a situation. I would say, to me, that screams introvert in an extrovert situation, but it doesn't have to be, but that's usually what I would see. Because if you're a keep to yourself kind of person and you don't like what's going around you, you're going to start kind of pulling in and pulling back and keeping yourself in your own circle as much as possible. And if you are confronted, put on the spot, then you're going to want to react to that. So those are just 10 things that I thought were idiosyncratic behaviors, what you might know as a habit that people do all the time, and maybe gives you a little insight as to why you do it. If you do them, or you know people who do them, feel free to share. And if you like what you heard today, then of course check us out at the eclecticcollectionpodcast.com or listen to us on your preferred platform. I'm Terry Tenaglia. Thanks for listening.